Hey everyone, we're back for part 2, and I'm going to be talking about what I did in regards to supplying power to the aftermarket stereo. The wire harness that was connected to the navigation display that you took out to put your double-din stereo in, I use that for the power. This is where it's at. I went ahead and cut my wires. You don't have to if you don't want to. You can just tap right into the wire. I don't ever see myself selling this car, so that's why I did that. And if I do, I can just add wire to it, and it's not going to be no big deal. But anyways, I'll get more in depth at the end of this video of what wires you use and all that you need in regards to the power, power to the battery, power to the ignition switch, the ground, and if you choose to do so, the dash lights. I also want to go over, if you decide that you don't want your factory stereo still mounted where they have it, I'm going to show you where I put mine. I actually have right here my police scanner, and as a first responder I have my emergency lights control unit right here, so it actually worked perfectly for me. Again, if you have a setup you want to replace right here, I'm going to show you how to do so. You have to have your factory stereo regardless. You have to have it wired in. And it's because I got screws here. It's because if you don't, then you can't see where the heating and air conditioning temperature is. So Acura, for whatever reason, decided to integrate that into the factory stereo. So if you remove, again, your factory stereo and that plastic piece below it, you'll see the amplifier, and then there's actually a navigation CD-ROM unit underneath. I'm going to show you and describe how and what I did to remove that. If you choose to place your factory stereo where that is at, to hide it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. I'm going to set up what I did, and then we'll come back. Alright everybody, so what you want to do to get to your factory amplifier and the navigation CD-ROM unit, you want to take this piece off right here. It all just snaps off. I have to use some force, but it just comes undone. Now the factory stereo is already there, but what you will most likely see is this underneath it, just like that. Well, but actually underneath. How you take this from out of there is you have one nut right here, and then one right there and one right there. Unscrew that. You'll have to push this back a little bit for it to come down. Once that's out, you'll have two screws that's attaching the amplifier. One's right here, one's right here, and then one's on the other side. Once you do that, the amplifier should come out, and it should come out from this way up above. It's easier that way. Now it's up to you if you want to take the brackets off. To me it would be, you most likely have to if you want your factory stereo to be down here, because this will probably be in the way. But from underneath you'll have two screws over here, or bolts, two over here. Then those should just come right down. Okay, so this is what it looks like to have the stereo, the factory stereo in. And the connections, I've connected all the way up. I brought them down, made it there. Everything, my side should pretty well go back on easily, hopefully. So let's now go back to the bench, and I'll explain what wire harnesses you're going to need to the amplifier and to the navigation CD-ROM unit. Alright guys, so from the amplifier, if you choose to use your speaker wires from the to the factory speakers, whether you replace them or not. So mainly if you don't put in your own wires from your amplifier or from the stereo to the speakers, what you want to do is cut, or if you choose so, you can wire into the wires right here. This is the adapter, or this is the 8-pin wire that you want to use. Again, I'll go over the wires shortly of which ones are which. But this line goes out to your car speakers, every one of them. In order to use the backup camera with your aftermarket stereo, you're going to want this wire harness right here. There are, I believe, 3 wires that you'll use. This is a 7-pin wire harness. I'll go over that some more shortly also. The other one you want to use from this is this connector, and I believe it's the 8-pin. You're going to want to use one wire off that, which I'll go over, and that's going to be to your reversing wire, so when you put it in reverse, you'll get power to it. And this is the CD-ROM navigation unit. So it's very important that you use those. I believe that's it in regards to that. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully I made that fairly simple. I will pause it real quick, and then I will go over more in detail about the wires I use for the power and for the speakers and for the backup camera. Alright, so hopefully you can see this pretty good. So we're going to start with the power. So at the beginning of this video, I showed you what wire harness I used. If you choose to use the same, this is as good as a diagram of the wire harness that I could. And these are the wires that you use. So the green wire at pin 1 will be the power from your battery. So you'd put that to the yellow wire of your aftermarket stereo. Pin 2, purple wire, that will be to your ignition. So you'd want that to the red wire. Pin 10 would be black, that's to the ground, to your black wire to your aftermarket stereo. Then if you choose so to do the dash lights, pin 11 is gray wire. That will dim and brighten your aftermarket stereo. Have any questions about that, let me know, but hopefully I made that as simple as possible. Now in regards to the backup camera, there are 2 connectors that you're going to need to use that are plugged into the CD-ROM navigation unit. The first connector is a 7-pin. You will want the white wire. That will be connecting to the power when you put it in reverse. You'll want the yellow wire, pin 4. That's to your ground signal to your backup camera. And then pin 5 will be the black wire, and that does mainly your positive signal video for your backup camera. The next connector you want is the 8-pin, and you only need one wire, pin 5, light blue. It's a reversing signal when you put it in reverse. And so mainly what you want to do on your aftermarket stereo, you should have a wire that says hook up to your reversing switch. This is the wire you need to hook that up to, the light blue. And you also want to put the white wire from the 7-pin connector to the light blue also. So you'll have 3 wires all together right here. And that will activate the camera and your aftermarket stereo. Okay? Any questions, let me know on that one. Last but not least, if you choose so right now, is using the wires that go to your factory speakers. Or even if you put aftermarket speakers in, like me, if you want to use that same wiring instead of putting new wiring into your speakers. Now, this wire harness is to the amplifier. It's the 18-pin, and right now I'm not using the wires to the subwoofer because I don't need to, because I plan on getting a aftermarket amplifier and I'm going to hook it up that way. But the top part of the wire harness that you'll be using is all on the negative side. I'm not gonna go word for word. I'm just gonna try and get close so you can read it. But I have noticed, like, pin 3 is the right rear door speaker, and then if you come down, pin 12 right below the 3 is the right rear door speaker, and that's the positive. So all the top part is the negative, the bottom part is all positive. Hopefully that makes sense. I try to put as much as I can, if you can read it, the description of what is what. Again, it's all positive and negative, but like I said, if 3 goes to one speaker, then, or if the top number goes to one speaker, then the bottom one should go to the same one. You just got negative and positive. Hopefully that made sense. If not, again, let me know. So that's as far as I've gone in regards to doing this customization. I plan on doing a video once I get new speakers and amplifier, show you what I do there. But hopefully this will at least get you started. You might not need my video for the next one, but if you do, hopefully I'll be able to make it soon after I get the equipment, whenever that might be. Any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. Bye.